Children, we're going now. It's happening. I totally forgot what I called tonight. Something basic, tricky shape, corner, death, life things.
It says something tricky corners.
Yeah. Tricky corners that you should all know by now. And in fact, I think all these shapes we've seen in videos on this channel at this Go class. And so if you're looking at this board and you claim to have watched all of the Nick Sibicky Go lectures or been to every single class, and something's foreign here, well, you failed at learning, because we've done these all before.
I failed at harsh, but...
I know, it's a really harsh way to start the video. But it's a good self-test, right? To see, like these, I think my real point I'm trying to make, perhaps without the harshity, is that these are common things. These are common situations that will come up in your games. And if you haven't had a game that has it's come up before, well, play more Go? Invade the corner more? I don't know. You're doing something wrong if this hasn't come up in your game, if you have never experienced any of these. So yeah, we'll talk about each of these. We might even do some, I'm gonna start with this and I might make some alterations for each of these problems to show you some of the variations. But these are pretty common corner kind of situations. I want to talk about this one. As Chris was noting before we got started, when people come to me and they have no idea how good they are, I just show them this problem. This is a really good test to see if you've made it past the beginner stages and are now officially an intermediate Go player, in my opinion. So tell me about this problem.
White's dead.
Well.
If black plays the correct move.
Unsettled.
It's true. Black can kill us unconditionally. How?
2-1.
2-1. Let's play it out.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know, this is great. Remind me your name?
Joel.
Joel. Joel walked right into this one.
Disappointment.
Next move for black.
3-1.
Next move for white.
Go.
Throw in, black takes, we have a ko.
It's not unconditional.
It is unconditional. Joel is just so very wrong.
Yeah, this variation is not.
This variation is not unconditional. This position, if you start here, this results in ko. In many of these corner situations, the 2-1 is the most vital point there is, right? The 2-1 points are super key. So if your instinct, if your Go intuition is saying play 2-1, that's a good intuition. Your intuition is good. Your reading, however, failed you.
Yay!
Because it does result in ko. Give me another situation. If 2-1 doesn't work.
And it's obviously 2-2.
It's obviously 2-2. Where does white play?
Wherever he wants.
Where does black play?
B1.
Takes the other 2 on. Oh, but look, white makes 2 eyes.
Sort of.
Sorry, bro.
Except white also self-ataried.
Right.
And so black captures the whole thing here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Which is a really nifty thing.
It's a really nifty thing. So, in this situation, this move kills, this move makes ko. Getting 6 in the corner actually is possible, like it happens. I'm gonna change a stone. It's tricky, right? This just 6 spaces in the corner, you think it'd be pretty easy, but it's actually tricky. Now what to do? Should we try to kill?
Let's try the same.
Let's try to kill.
Oh no.
Let's try to kill again.
That's
Foreshadowing. Same sequence, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's alive.
It's alive. It's not self-atari. If white has 1 more liberty, this move no longer kills. So the difference between this and this is pretty profound. I want you to appreciate this. When white has a liberty, we can no longer kill him. So what does black do instead? Now we go back to the ko, and the ko actually still makes ko. Kinda. Here. Let's play it out. This is straight ahead ko, right? You can see if this was here, this would be, this actually doesn't make a difference. Or does it? No, it does make a difference. Oh yeah, it does. It still has.
I guess it's a one step further go.
It is now a one-step ko, yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
but at least you got some sort of cup.
But we still have a ko. So when I say one-step ko, right, black needs to fill liberty and then win the ko. All right? So far, so good? That's a cool situation. Let's put that back. It'd be nice. Let's talk about this one. Is this a bent 4 in the corner?
Not white.
It's not the dead.
It's not an actual bent 4 in the corner. Oftentimes, when we're talking about intermediate Go players, I look at this and they go, "Oh, bent 4, that's just dead."
Almost
It's like white can start the go, unfortunately.
Well, not white.
If it's white, black just lives.
If it's white, white just lives.
plays, white lives, but if black plays, then white can force the go. Right?
Okay. Well, I've seen this in double-digit Q games, where both players just think this is alive, right? Because if you know your living shapes, right? You know the Tetris shape, the L shape. That's alive, right? Except if it's in the corner.
I think that has something to do with whether you have stones in there.
No.
Mhm. Black to play.
Right off the corner. 2-1 or 1.
2-1.
Yeah,
That's a good move. Where does white play?
white has to throw it all in.
Throw in. Black takes. So this is direct ko, right? They just want to keep taking the stone back and forth forever. So this is ko. It's not unconditional, alive or dead, right? And it's funny that I think I've seen it in double-digit Q games where one player thought this was death because he thought it was bent 4. In the corner, that just means automatic death. And the other player thought it was alive because he saw the L shape. I was like, that's alive. Tricky, right?
It's a very tricky shape.
Question.
Well, you can still do the ko.
Still ko. Is it a one-step ko or direct ko?
It's a one-step ko.
It's not one-step ko.
It's not a one-step ko?
Not in this case.
It's direct because we connect up if we win,
Yeah.
and then it's 3 in a row and then we
Yeah.
win.
Try it. 2-1.
Yeah.
White throws in. Black takes.
Play somewhere around the corner.
White makes a threat. Black doesn't respond. How does black finish the ko?
We fell.
You play here. And this collapses to a dead shape.
Yeah.
So,
Slightly different.
wait. Uh-huh.
Now it's one-step ko.
No, it's the same thing. I mean, they can have as many.
It's not the same thing. No!
It's not.
Not the, now! Oh my god, mind blown. These are tricky. These are trickier than they look. Totally different result in this case.
Really?
Really, really.
Wait.
Wait, all right, everyone
Yeah.
freak out.
Oh my god, we squish it.
You squish it.
Yeah.
Let me go.
All right, what's the sequence? Black tries to kill it or ko it.
We've run to do the co like before. And now we
It's a ko, right?
3-1.
We can go in there.
Now you play here.
Oh my
can't
god.
play.
Black, illegal move. So black is parties from the outside.
Uh-huh.
2 eyes. This is the problem that keeps on giving, right?
Yeah, it's cool. That was
Yeah.
So, not as simple as you might think.
Yeah.
And again, so many players assume this is just alive or assume it's just dead because they've heard of the bent 4 in the corner rule. How would we make this into what's called an actual bent 4 in the corner?
You have to expand it
Good.
by 1, and then you need to put a black group in there that's gonna quorum a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is called the bent 4. And this, under Japanese rules, is considered dead.
Well,
Yes. All right, here we
We had
go.
a giant lecture about this before.
We have done a lecture about this before and
The
why
fact
this
that
is
people
dead.
call this a bent 4 is actually confusing.
Is really confusing. And it has to do with the fact that if white ever plays here, it's very obviously dead. If white ever plays here, it's very obviously dead. White has no moves. Therefore, white is at whatever black wants to do. Black could just pass this out and leave this as Seki, quote unquote, and I've seen that happen to double-digit Q players. Even though in Japanese rules, you declare it as dead at the end of the game. But because white can't play either of these moves, that means black can play this move at any time. So white's in Atari, white takes, and this shape now looks real familiar. This is the shape we just did. What was the result of this shape? Ko. But because it's ko and white can never start it, the assumption is that both players will play all the way to the end of the game such that there are no more ko threats on the board. And therefore, any ko that gets started will be won by the person who starts it. And so because black is the only person that can start it, this ko is automatically won by black, and thus we declare it dead, at least according to the Japanese rule set.
Do they have that rule to make the scoring of games agree with Chinese scoring? Or like, why do they have that as a specific rule rather than just letting the code play out at the end of the game?
Because they don't want to force the player to have to fill in their own territory.
And that's partially a scoring thing, right? In Japanese rules, when you play inside your own territory, you take away your own points.
Yeah.
But, so you might have to fix all the ko threats.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I guess that was my thinking is
Yeah.
that, so they have to fix all the code threats. That would be one way you could frame the rules of the game.
That's true. Yeah.
Well,
And it would just be that games played in Japanese rules, people would have to fill in more code threats, and people played under other rule sets, they wouldn't have to fill in as many code threats.
Okay, there's a strong argument to be made here to not play Japanese rules.
I mean,
But we'll leave that aside.
Sure.
to defend the Japanese rule sets a little bit, so like we don't fully capture dead groups and stuff like that, we just agree they're dead. So something like that, you would just be like, well, we agree I would eventually just kill all my code threats anyways, and you can't do anything, and then come back and kill it. So it's effectively the same thing.
If we were playing Chinese rules, it would be the same thing, right?
Yes.
But
Well,
but
Chinese
it's-
rules, you can actually play it out.
Right, that's my point. However, there are situations where you have unremovable co-threats, where you cannot play out all the co-threats. For instance, any Seki, right? You can never play all the moves in a Seki. There's always going to be at least a minimum of 2 spaces left. You can't remove those co-threats.
Does the Japanese rules have exceptions for Seki?
I don't even know anymore. I don't know. I don't think so.
Interesting.
I should know, but I don't. Or just imagine there's 2 of these on the board. Now you have more unremovable co-threats. We can't actually get this position off the board without dying. So
goes in the roll. Oh,
isn't Go exciting? You know, like there's a point where I think you're learning Go, and you get to this nice plateau where you're like, I know how to play Go. I understand the rules. And then you don't. And then you start getting to all these really, it's like butterfly effect, chaos theory kind of things, where you have your oh shit moment and go, oh, this game's deeper than I thought. Like even once you know everything, right, you still get these weird situations. We're not even going to talk about triple cups today. Right? That's
I've always had a bit of a sense that maybe the Japanese rules were, well, they're all pretty much expert, they know how to play, and they just don't want to bother prove it every time.
Sure, there is a little bit of the shortcut mentality in that, right? But it also does come down to like a scoring issue, right? Like where, in order to actually capture this, you have to fill in your own territory. And if you're playing Chinese rules, which is how all the robots play, that doesn't matter. You can just fix all your co-threats with some exceptions like Seki automatically.
Yeah, that seems more elegant.
There is something to be said for that, yeah. How you actually count Chinese is ugly, right? Like you just massacre the board.
Yeah, Japanese is faster to count, which is a major plus, right?
There are Chinese players who will debate you on that. You just throw half the stones away, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, right? Knock out, and get there pretty quickly, right? Because in Chinese, that's what you do, right? You just take half the stones off the board, you fill in all your territory with your own stones, you throw half of them away, and then you take your giant clump of stones that are on the board, and you just group them off in tens, and that's your score. And if you get more than half the board's worth of points, you won the game. But it's oh man, it kind of hurts, right? Because you're just destroying the entire board. It's like wiping, what's that, the Buddhist stone garden thing, sand garden.
I always think it's kind of fun.
Where you're,
It's fun to like make little groups of 10 at the end.
Okay.
I think it's fun.
You were a weird kid, Bill.
I'm also the only double digit in the class.
That can't be true.
Oh, no, you did make it right. I mean, 2 double digits.
Joel's here. I don't know. Yeah, see?
Oh,
you're not
3?
alone.
Wow.
4, yeah. We have like an authentic double-digit Q class today.
Wow. I'll shut my mouth.
There's a quorum of double-digit Q players. So, problem that keeps on giving. Tricky. So here, we'll do in conclusion. What's the result of this? Co.
Still co.
And alive. Amazing. All right, there's your shortcut heuristic. This one. I looked this one up on Sensei's library earlier today. And it said that this type of situation has a name that I never heard before. I think it was called a gun group.
Okay.
I don't understand.
Very American.
You go on Sensei's library, look up gun group, and you can see things like this. I think. I didn't really spend much time. I was like, gun group? What the hell? I moved along.
I wouldn't guess that that's just alive.
It's I mean, unless you play the 2/2 as black, there's if white gets 2/2, they're unconditionally.
This is the easiest problem I put up on the board, by the way.
It's just alive.
It is alive, but
If you start the co in the other corner.
this is where we get the co-threats from.
There's co-threats in this one.
This one I was pointing out because this is one that there's a lot of derivations of this shape, especially with Q players liking to make tiger's mouth shapes on the outside. So there's lots of variations of this, but they all have this 2/2 weakness in common.
Doesn't black 2/2 kill it?
No, it doesn't kill it.
I think.
What does white do?
So you want to target the stone and the other stone.
Okay. What does white do now?
And now white.
Oh yeah,
White
you
did
can
kill
kill
him.
the target.
Isn't it second?
It's Seki. Yeah. It's one of those tricky corner situations where you have, it's especially, it comes up a lot when white has these 4/1 points. Notice white has 0, 2, 1 points.
Yeah.
And if white is spread out to that part. There's other configurations you can do here that result, I don't remember them all. But basically, right, if we play this out, it doesn't matter which direction, white can never Atari these stones. There's no way to do it. And so we have a Seki. Actually, yeah, it doesn't even matter, right? We can fill that in. Although if we fill that in,
Still this one.
no, it's the same Seki still. That doesn't even matter if there's an I there, if that's filled in.
It wasn't a real eye anyway.
In this case, however, I think black doesn't have to play 2/2. Black can actually play any 2/1 point either. And it's the same. Oh, actually, no, sorry. This is better. Oh, this is dead. That's been 4.
Why doesn't
Yeah,
white
sorry,
take
that's worse.
S1 though in this case?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, if white plays there, now it's Seki again.
Yeah.
There you go. Seki. Yeah, don't play 2/2 as your white. There you go. There's Seki again. So it doesn't even matter, right, if this is filled in or not. So the gun group.
It seems odd calling it.
I might even be misquoting it again.
This reminds me of the
Didn't really
hovercraft
study.
group.
The
Which I think
hovercraft.
that they named so that they can make a joke that my hovercraft is full of eels at some point.
Oh, weird.
Which is a Monty Python reference.
Okay. Anyway, be wary of those situations, right, where there is this 2/2 point. The basic shape that you have to look for is the double bulky 5. If you see the double bulky 5, there's a weakness there. And it might not be killable because we know bulky 5 is dead, but anything beyond a bulky 5 usually isn't.
Inverse B52.
The inverse B52 shape.
Yeah.
The double bulky 5. In this case is Seki. most commonly. All right, this last one. We're going to do 2 variations here. This is the one. Oh man, it's bad. Well, this one's better than the next one I'm going to show you. I think this one's easier of the 2 variations we're down here because we're going to look at some 7-point groups. Where does black play?
19R.
19R looks like the move. You'd be correct.
Yay.
That's a good move.
I guess.
What do you do as white?
How about we just play right
1,
next
2.
to it,
Next to
on
it.
the other side?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
So you like Ko?
Yeah.
I mean, I like
Oh, I forgot.
yeah.
SAT.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
No, I'll take it.
All right, that's Ko. And this is a direct Ko. It looks like it's a 2-step Ko because it looks like black needs to fill an extra liberty. Black does not. White plays, black plays here. This is now reducible to.
Yeah, but actually, I was thinking, it's like, go back a little bit there. Okay, so black comes in, white comes in. Okay, and then black captures this little sector.
Okay, so this is where we started.
And then put the, oh, I see, there's, okay, you can't play any of the other.
Self-Atari.
Yeah, never mind.
Yep, direct Ko.
How about we have an outside liberty, please?
Ah, okay. Good. What a good observation.
Is there a way to make Seki?
From this point?
No, earlier, from the beginning.
Well, here, let's. This is a hair better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What does black play? Actually, it's probably more than a hair better. I should say. It's just
Yeah.
Down.
yeah, black plays here.
Needs to.
And now, what does white play?
1-1. They graded 1-1.
No, that means
No.
code. You don't want to do that. You can play pretty much any other place inside there. I think it'll be.
You can't play any place because
Oh,
you
yeah.
can
any place.
Play the
you get to the
play the
bend
1,
for
2.
a few.
Play the 1, 2.
Let black fill.
Seki.
No.
No, it's not Seki.
If you play this, you
Oh,
die.
not if you play there. Okay, then you have to
Yeah,
play
we
this.
wanted to play the other one.
You want to play 1, 3.
You want to play this one?
No, because now it's bent 4.
Bend forward.
Bent 4.
I was thinking.
So
So you have to play Q or the 4-1.
I guess
there's only one other place.
Yeah,
Bend forward.
Yeah. What?
we have to do the front and then.
It's like,
So this, we move the 2-2.
Don't play. You play nowhere.
No.
Tanuki. You can play here. This is possible to start this.
Code.
Is this the 1,000-year Co or something like that?
This is related. We're going to see a real like a 10,000-year code next.
Okay.
But you just totally stole my thunder.
Sorry.
But yeah, this is maybe a 1,000-year code. Maybe it's actually I don't think there's really a difference. They're probably the same thing. But this one just feels less severe to me for some reason. If black, if basically no one really wants to play another move here. I guess this would qualify as a 10,000-year code.
Yeah.
White can start it to force a Seki. Black can start it to force a Seki.
why?
But
Black,
why?
Why? You just lose a stone. Or there's no
if black starts that, you go back to the other one. If black takes, if you put white on 1-1, and then maybe it's a cobra, anyway, and then black takes,
Yeah.
and then you got some really terrific code thread somewhere. So you-
Sure.
You make a code thread, and then white
But
comes back.
okay, but let's say white wins the ko. Now what?
Well, no. But you have the code thread, and then
Okay,
white
fine.
comes back.
Okay.
Play on top.
White makes a ko.
Yeah, play on top of the 2 black stones.
Ah, yes, good. So here's the problem for white. White can't ever finish this ko without playing another move. So white is really not excited to start this ko. Like, I have to play 2 moves to risk my own life. Like, it'll help me not die, but here's the math, right? So let's say white starts it. White can start it. This is a valid option. Like, white can do this. No, come back. So black takes. White makes a ko threat. Now, black, if black wants to fight Ko for the group, black has to play here, and now white will take. So white has gotten one free move out of this, and we'll take the Ko first. We're in Ko for life, we're all in agreement, right? Ko for life right now. White gets a free move and takes first. Cool. Let's do it another way. We had black play first, right, last time?
Yeah.
Oh, white started.
Black, sorry.
Black captures next, right?
Or actually, well, black can also Tanuki. Yeah, black should just Tanuki.
Okay.
Like no one wants to start this, right? Like it takes 2 moves to start it.
Yeah, and I guess,
Let's say black starts it. White takes first. Black plays. White will just respond. Black plays again. White maybe makes a threat. If black wants to turn this into a real Ko, black has to play here. And again, white takes first and got a free move. So no matter who starts it, like the result is the same, right? White will get a free move and will take first. So why start it? Hello, welcome. Like, doesn't matter which player plays there next. It's the same result.
that's such a weird shame.
Yeah. So I don't know what to do with that.
Use his threat somewhere else.
Now, it's something where if you have lots of big threats, you can start it, but before that, you don't.
Right. And so this is why white doesn't play this one. Right? This is why white plays this one, right? If you play this one as white, you'll get to take first and, get a free move somewhere.
Okay.
If you play this one, we're just in direct Ko immediately for your own life. Like, you get way less benefit. Still with me? Let's make a 7 this way. All right, looks innocuous, right? That probably looks like a live corner. 7 spaces is alive. This one? This one?
18. 19. Yep.
So 18-1, no good.
Yeah.
I? No I.
I think we want the 2-2.
Good, we definitely want the 2-2 point. If we try this 18-1 point, it's the same thing.
Yeah, you can do that.
Same thing.
Yours.
This is the key point. All right, you ready for go is hard?
Is it not
It's not 18.
18? Thanks.
This one or this one?
The first one.
Not that one? Or this play this one?
Not that one?
I would have said the bottom of the board, but
Yeah.
I'll read it out carefully, so I don't know.
Well, if we do.
I was,
I want to do this one.
Okay.
Go to the
If
19th.
you decide to start.
Where does black play?
Descends. I mean, that's the only thing that would make any sense.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Nice.
second.
That's kind of an eye. Don't,
But
It's-
white can't Atari those black
Yeah.
stones.
It's Seki. Right?
That is Seki. I don't feel like the answer is supposed to be Seki though.
I think you've done a bad job. It's not supposed to be second.
So then something, why don't you Atari?
Sorry on what night?
Oh, never mind, it's also.
Yeah. Huh. It's just Seki. Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
Wait, what is
It's the gun group thing.
It's
Wait,
the
how
gun
did
group
you
thing.
go R19?
Yeah.
Our here?
Yes, black.
As black, that's worse, right? Yeah. Because now you went in Gote, still Seki, but you played, now it's white's move.
That was good.
Right, if we just play here and white plays here, now it's your move.
Yeah.
All right. Weird. I actually wasn't expecting that.
I can tell.
What if white plays this way?
I think we want to.
I did something wrong here. This isn't right.
I think we want to
This
descend
is
again.
easy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same shape.
And then we want to take liberty at any time.
Here, a
and
Seki.
Seki.
So it's both
What
Sekis.
about, what about 19-3 for black? The one, yeah.
Oh, here. Ah, that makes it cool.
Oh, it does.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Oh.
Still Seki.
Told you.
1 point to the rescue. Can't Atari.
But like, does
So
that
far out.
offers a co?
Hmm?
So does that offer a co? So it's worse?
It offers a co, so it's worse.
It's worse for black than the other one.
Wow, that is worse.
This one is just Seki. Now here's the question. Should white make a Seki?
No.
Let's say white takes a free move somewhere. What does black do?
I thought we trust you, Phil.
How?
For co, drop down to the corner.
1-1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then white plays R19 again.
No. White looks at that and takes another free move. Now what does black do?
Capture 17T.
Okay. White looks at that
Plays another.
and takes another move.
I mean, we're kind of doing something.
Black to play.
Black's just dying.
What does black do?
Atari.
Atari.
Why not?
Now we're in co, white takes first. So
Can't fill or? Oh, that would be a second.
in this situation, if you have this shape, white should tanuki. Almost always. Like there's a few cases where this is actually like playing a 4-move essential ko is like the biggest thing on the board. Otherwise you take 3 free moves elsewhere. Like that's a lot. Unless you're at the very, very end of the game. And then you can just play here. But otherwise, I don't know, this is not that big.
I'm going to confess some ignorance here and
Yeah.
say I'm probably the only person in the room who does not know what the word tanuki means.
Oh, awesome. What a great question. Tanuki means play elsewhere.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, if I ever use terms that you guys don't know, you should just ask, because I forget. We could go over just a list of Go terms.
Like go.
Go, yes, what does Go mean? Don't even know anymore.
I'm really curious about
It actually means 5, right, in
Yeah.
Japanese, yeah.
It's shortened ego.
It is also a shortened version of
It
ego.
doesn't actually mean anything. It's a nickname.
That's right, yeah, it doesn't even compute. So anyway, this is what we call 1,000-year, or 10,000-year code.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And black turns here. Like no one has a reason to keep playing this.
Right.
Like it just takes too many moves to get it to be a thing.
Well, this
And
point.
does white have any, or does black have any incentive to play anything more there either?
Black does eventually, but
Well, I mean, like,
you're gonna be at a disadvantage because white's gonna take the ko first, and you're gonna be giving up overall 3 free moves.
does white have any incentive to play inside there at all?
Nope.
No.
I mean, eventually, yeah, but like, it's yeah. I get if I play in there, I don't get these 3 free moves,
Okay.
right? This is a very undefined. This is a Schrodinger's box kind of go situation, right? We can't actually evaluate if white's dead or alive yet. Like we can't look in the box. There's
Too much else going on.
yeah, too much. I guess the metaphor breaks down at this point.
If there's nothing of any value left anywhere, does white survive? So if there's no moves that-
There's no moves of value. If every other point on the board is filled in to be exactly 2 eyes for white and 2 eyes for black, and there's nothing else,
Then white makes a
white should play here.
Okay.
Actually, not in this case. Not yet. Sorry. White still passes in this case. If this isn't here, white plays here.
Okay.
All right. If black does this and there's nothing left on this board, white passes.
If you connect, then it's second. If black makes that move,
What?
white connects there. And then
If white connects here,
No, that's too
okay, never mind. Yeah, okay.
no, white still passes here. Like even if there's no value, right? You still don't have a reason to play in here.
Okay.
Don't look in the box, Kyle.
So if white passes and then black passes,
Alright.
how do you count it?
No,
Right now, I would assume Seki,
Second.
but it'd probably be dispute between the players because one would look at it and go,
And then you start up and play again, and then white has to play.
and then, well, white passes.
does black also now?
No, it's to black's advantage to play.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. But white passes again. So now black has another choice. Right? He can play here to make Seki, or he can force this to be a real ko.
Okay.
And if there's no real ko threats on the board, because everything else on the board is filled, white takes first, which is white has been doing all this passing all this time. Right? Even if there's a zero value board, right? Even white doesn't get any value from three free moves.
So if both sides have no moves of any value,
It's Seki.
then it's Seki.
Yes, is the best result
Okay.
for both players, if it goes to that. But neither player will actually make the Seki because whoever does is at a disadvantage.
White doesn't have to make the second. White can just
Yeah.
keep passing.
I think I see.
So,
Force black.
so if you're on a board that has zero value of everything else, and I think he gets to this point,
Yeah.
if you're a professional player, I think you can claim that this is Seki. I think. I don't really know any of this. Like, this is me just...
It's interesting that that's different from like the bent four, because bent four you could have like tigers' mouths that are like code threats and things like that, and you're like,
Yeah.
Japanese rules, ignore them. Whereas this case, you would have to fill them in order to make it so there are no code threats left.
Yeah, is that a nice yin yang contrast?
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, it's definitely really yin-yang.
these corners are tricky, right? Like,
So is that corner like only dead if black only has the threats?
black needs to have threats, yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot of threats.
Or is willing to ignore lots of threats, right? But it's not necessarily that black needs to have threats.
Well,
It's that-
yeah, white can't have anything that's threatening or too big. Okay.
I guess black needs to have one threat. Black needs to win the ko at least once.
Okay.
So there needs to be one big threat, and black needs to not have any threats against him, I think.
So, under AGA rules, when you pass, you have to hand the stone.
That's right. That's why AG has the pass stone.
Oh, yeah, so, but does that change this now?
Now,
No, the way the AGA thing would work is since the passing stone, you don't need to worry about any of these shenanigans, dead fours and stuff like that.
yeah, pass stones are really weird. How many of you have played under AGA rules? Wow, so most of you haven't.
I can get the general concept though.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at their faces, and they're all looking like, what do you mean?
The thing is, if you got a situation like that, that's what we're starting with here, and you know, at the end of the game, there's usually a few dominant spots left, so when you have 3 or 4 dominant left, then you start this.
But it's still,
Well, I mean,
And
under
then-
the AGA
and
rule
then when
set.
black, assuming you're white here, black goes in, tries to capture white, can just keep filling in on the.
right, you still get 3 free moves. That's yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
matter.
the dominants don't count anything.
Well, in the AGA when they started.
Okay. Let's back up a second. AGA rules, so we have this problem with Japanese rules and Chinese rules, right? Where in Chinese rules, you would count all, let's say it looked like this, and it was a nice healthy live group, unquestionable. Chinese rules, you would count all your stones and all the empty territory, effectively, right? In Japanese rules, you only count the empty spaces. Now, because you alternate moves in a game of Go, ergo, I play just as many stones as my opponent does, this should mean that the scores are equal. It doesn't matter if we count empty territory or if we count stones on the board plus empty territory. We've still played the same number of moves. They're equal. And if you're thinking, but Nick, what about captures?
The difference between your scores is equal.
The different, yes, right, you get the same result. And if you're thinking, but Nick, what about captures? That means I have more stones on my board than my opponent. I'd be like, correct. It's still equal because in Japanese rules, you then take your captured stone and use it to fill in a point of your opponent's territory. So it still counts against your opponent. So under that very basic premise, the two scoring systems are equal. Except, this also means that in Japanese rules where you have white and black stones meeting, this is no points for nobody. In Chinese rules, you have to play to the end of the game. And this would be 1 point for each player. Again, the scoring systems are equal, right? This is 0, this is 1 to 1. Still same difference between the scores. But once you start getting to edge cases like this, you have problems. Where if players can keep playing stones that don't die in the end of the game because they're in a Seki or because they're in some sort of 10,000-year Ko situation, then the Chinese and Japanese points can start diverging. The AGA, American Go, we are not, a founding country of Go, and when they were dealing with this problem, they tried to deal with it very elegantly, but kind of failed because there isn't an elegant solution. But the idea is that in the AGA, we wanted to welcome both Japanese and Chinese players, and I wanted to make sure that everyone got the same goddamn score, no matter what edge case there was. And what they did was genius, right? This rule is a genius rule. But oh man, does it confuse people. It feels really awful when you play it. Because the rule is this in American Go. If you pass, you have to give your opponent a stone. And this stone represents a point. So every time I pass, I give my opponent a point.
Yeah. So you're incentivized not to pass.
You're incentivized not to pass is the first thing.
You're incentivized to do something else with it.
Right. And the nature of this pass stone, right, is such that if on your turn you have the ability to play here, or you have the ability to pass, well, I want to play here, right? I want to put a stone on the board where it'd be worth a point. Then my opponent is also incentivized not to pass, so my opponent plays a stone here, and boom, voila. We both didn't pass stones, we're still even on points, everybody's happy. If, in Japanese rules, black played, white did not play, but then black played again, this would be still 0-0, no one gained anything. If this is Chinese rules, black actually gained 2 points, right? And so in order to incentivize those Japanese players, number one, to play their dame, and number one, to find a way to count dame, because in AGA you do not count the stones on the board, you only count the territory. This effectively makes dame count as points. Because in AGA, if black gets 2 moves here, in Chinese this means the black player just got 2 points. If white passed twice, those are 2 points you give to the Japanese player that now count against the Japanese player.
So it's even.
So it's not even.
Well, that's
No, this is a way for Japanese players to count dame as prisoners,
Yes.
right? It effectively makes dame as prisoners. And it also clarifies a bunch of the edge cases here. Now there's another AGA rule that we're not going to talk about because I don't think I can explain it within any amount of time. It's that white must pass last.
Well,
It never happened. We didn't talk about it.
I think I understand that. That's to make sure they played the same number.
It's to make sure they play the same number of moves, but why, Japanese, Chinese, there's no other rule that enforces that they need to play the same number of rules, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to talk about that why. We're just not going to.
Passing stone fix the bent 4 problem, so the AGA doesn't even
Yeah,
say
The
that
bent,
it's dead?
it also fixes the bent 4 problem.
So like, if you pass and I fill,
And he fixes his co-thread,
yeah.
right? I'm giving him a point every time to fix all his co-threads. So he's not taking away his own territory.
Too.
The pass
Very end of the
stone,
game, whenever someone passes, then you just start fixing every co-thread, or forcing them to pass over and over.
but every time you fix a co-thread, you're losing a point, right? You're
Yeah.
filling in your own territory.
So they're also losing a point.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So in Chinese and American rules, you can do that.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yep.
Again, the pass stone rule is so elegant. It's a great rule,
Yes.
but
It
it's
feels-
completely artificial compared to anything else that Go has ever known.
Yeah. It's
Right.
also can be a feels bad, I imagine.
It is a feels bad, right? And especially if you're playing against a Chinese player for the first time, who's playing like Japanese scoring for the first time, which happens if you go to the US Go Congress, by the way, because the last few years, especially, like we get, I don't know, between probably 100 and 200 players from China there, like either from China or Chinese living in America who play Chinese rules. And you get to the end of the game, and they haven't been keeping track of their captures, right? Because capture stones don't count. Yeah.
Just toss it on the
They just
ground.
toss it back in your bowl.
It's not good.
And you're giving them pass stones?
What's the rule if they put like their captures in their bowl or something like that?
So the rule is this: you call over a tournament director, TD!
Okay.
And usually what happens is they'll tell you to count Chinese,
Okay.
which which is fine and fun, but is definitely against the rules as well. Like the AJ rules are definitely a territory scoring, not an area scoring rule set. So
Well, especially if you give them pass down.
I thought AGA rules said you can count either way,
oh really? Okay.
but you have to agree before the.
You have to agree before the game. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I think
But the
that is
AGA
lost.
rules include you can count
Yes.
territory
Okay.
or you can count
Okay.
area.
I think you're right. But you do have to. But
you should
usually when
specify the
if you're playing an American tournament, there's Chinese players. You don't agree on anything before the game.
What do you mean by territory and area?
Territory is when you count. This is 7 points in territory. And if I'm counting area, this is 7 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 14 points area, 7 points territory. Yeah. And all the robots, if you want to be a robot, you count area.
I imagine
All the
it's-
robots count area.
I imagine it's just because it's easier.
It's much more elegant to program in.
Yeah.
You ever play the hardcore Wednesday tournament? It's traditional to count Chinese.
At the is it really? I thought it was Japanese counting at that.
No,
The Die Hard
on
tournament?
Wednesday.
Yeah, I played the Wednesday
Yeah.
game. I don't think it's Chinese. I think it's
Yeah, every
Japanese.
time I've played, it's been I've counted Chinese.
Okay.
Maybe I'm the only one.
So the Die Hard tournament, I usually show up late, like after everybody else is tired and super worn out. So they've already just played a giant tournament for the last 3 days, and now they're playing a super fast mini tournament on Wednesday. And so I show up a couple rounds late after everyone's still hungover.
Just
and
come in for the
late.
third round.
Yeah. Last year I did that, and my first round game was against the 6-dan that I beat, and I was like, okay, that's a good strategy. Let's keep doing that. It's good. Yeah, you're just beat by Wednesday. Okay, how you feeling?
I'm still trying to process that 1,000 or 10,000 year code shape. It's
Yeah.
a little bit above me, I think.
Yeah. I tell you what, Kyle. In a moment, we're gonna stop,
Okay.
and we're gonna go play some Go games. And if you don't want to get into a 10,000 year code in your game, just don't get into one.
Well, if I get into one, I'll just not play it until the very end of the game.
I'll tell you what. If anyone here today gets into a 10,000 year code
You get a medal.
in the corner, I'll give you $1.
We got into
But
one.
only if you play it out.
Even if you just get there, it's $1.
AJ rules,
Your
you
money-
play it out.
It's your money.
I actually got into one a few months ago here in the class after work, except that I screwed it up and just made it a direct go instead of.
Oh, you got baited by them. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the 2x4.
It's hard, it's so hard because you think you need to play moves in the corner, but
Yeah.
you don't. You have to be patient and wait 10,000 years because they're not worth anything. Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, I hope this cleared up some corner ambiguities and probably confused you more than that, but that was the hope. Yeah. Let's play some games. All right.